All right, so I wanted to start with the NBA. I know we don't talk about them very often with the big, beautiful light on them, but I will say this. The Oklahoma Thunder are pretty much dominating this year. I mean, almost Chicago-type domination this year, John, the way they've been able to play. And here's what I mean by that. So they are leading right now in their division 8.5 games. They have a 25-3 home record right now. That's not so bad. I mean, let's just think about this. In this era that we've got now where people are sitting out and all the rest of this stuff, you've got that kid, Shai Alexander. He is leading the NBA in what he's doing with points, 32.6 points a game, John. Then you've got Chet Holmgren, local kid. I played basketball with his dad back in high school, and this kid went from St. Paul. He went all the way out there to Gonzaga. He gets drafted down there by Oklahoma. He loves it. He's got 8 rebounds. He's got 15 points a game. I mean, he's just very consistent. He's skinny, I know that, but the guy is an unbelievable power forward who can dribble the ball and shoot threes as good as almost anybody. They got a great center down there as well, John, who's rebounding like an absolute freak show, Hartenstein. But the important part about what they're doing is they're not turning over the ball. As a matter of fact, they're number 1 in the league in not turning the ball over. They're also number 1 in the league in forced turnovers. So when you've got that kind of a thing going, you're winning on both ends. And this group is really outplaying everybody else. Cleveland's having a great year. We should mention that as well. Great year. But I'll tell you what, right now, the Oklahoma Thunder are absolutely dominating everything. And it should be, they're one of those names where I think they're worth watching for anybody, even if you're not an NBA fan. I think you got to watch when these guys are on TV because they are out on a mission to win this whole thing. And this is just the start of it because all the names that I just mentioned, they're all really young. These guys are very, very young. So they might be around for quite a few years on the run that they've got right now.
Yeah. OKC, Pete, I remember last year, they basically made a 25-year commitment to staying there.
Yep.
In Oklahoma City. And the fans love them. Obviously, they've had an interesting past, I'll say that, because one of the owners, Aubrey McClendon, I think, something like that, Pete, was one of the owners. He had some issues, and he's no longer with us. But the team is still flourishing. And he loved that team almost as much as he loved oil and gas, Pete. But I will say that they are an exciting team. It's kind of like your Timberwolves. A lot of people don't pay attention to the Timberwolves, to OKC, and they didn't pay attention to the Bucks until that big Greek kid, Giannis, all of a sudden made them pay attention. So you do yourself a favor and check these guys out.
Yep. Anthony Edwards with the Timberwolves is absolutely unbelievable. He's having another great year. It's incredible to watch these guys and the ownership. We talked about that. All right. Secondly, I got this one for you, John. Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is taking a page, and I think it's worthwhile pointing this out because not enough football players do this. He's taking a page from Tom Brady. He's saying, you know what? Let's reconfigure my contract, and I want to have my receivers with me along the way. I want Chase. I want Higgins. I want Hendrickson on the defensive side of the ball as well. How do we do that? They've got space. They got $46 million in cap space, John. He's got what would be a $43 million or $46 million cap hit as well. Now, if he can do this, which he can, shift around and move some of that money around, one of the things they could do is they could make some of it into a bonus for him. That's going to change things a little bit. They can also push it further back because when Burrow signed this, it was a 5-year, $275 million contract. You can push that out. And when you get to that level, then you can pull it back again and then take it again, just like you did this go around as a signing bonus. If he wants to do all of that, it's a little complicated, but Tom Brady did it. If you want to do that, you can keep that team together and you might even be able to have some money to go out and get somebody else. I love what we're seeing out of Joe Burrow. I don't know why we don't see more of these quarterbacks making these kind of moves, John, so that they can have the players. If they truly want to be Super Bowl and not just having all the money in the world, that's the way to do it. And I think Burrow's very, very smart to take the page from Brady, because Brady did this in New England, whether people know it or not. He always cared more about Super Bowls than he did about the money. He liked the money. Don't get me wrong, but he liked those Super Bowls even better. And all you've got to do is shift this thing around a little bit. I love what Burrow's doing, and I think that he is doing the sacrifice that might be the difference for Cincinnati next year.
Well, and you and I touched on it, I think, Monday, Pete, when Jalen Hurts was saying that he said, money's great, championships are better.
Yeah.
And, you know, once you get to those guys' level, and they're all making a fortune, let's be serious. And I know all of you know that any of these superstars, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, they're all making a fortune. But to be willing to cut back or take less, I mean, Michael Jordan, Pete, in 1995 or 1996 was making $3 million. Could have been paid a lot more.
Yeah.
And to give you an example of what happened next, his next contract, Pete, 96, 97, and 97, 98, he made 30 and 33 million. So do you think something really happened that dramatically, or was Michael willing to play for less? Probably not all that happy about it. There was a salary cap issue too, I understand, but he wanted to win, and he wanted another three-peat. They won 3, and he wanted to do it again.
Yeah.
And he got to do it, Pete.
Yeah, it's amazing. If you really want to show everybody that you want to be a winner over the dollars are there, John. I mean, let's be honest. The difference between making $55 million in a year and $35 million in a year, I know it's $20 million, but $35 million, that's a pretty nice chunk. So I think that if you show that these guys and you show the fans who you really are, why do you think Tom Brady is so loved by New England and then Tampa after that? But he's loved because he was willing to do stuff like that and take some of those cuts, and he's going to get the money somewhere else anyway. All of these guys are commercials and, you know, deals, sponsorships, you name it, whatever it might be. But they really have to show their true colors. And I think that that's what I'm so impressed with Burrow right now, is he's showing the true colors. He wants a Super Bowl. He hasn't gotten it yet. He wants to win a Super Bowl.
Yep. Well, Pete, they put the right team around that guy. You and I both said he is one of the premier quarterbacks in the league.
Yep.
And you give him, you know, with Higgins and these other guys around him rather than losing them, I think he is in a position to do that. But they got to have a defense, and they've not had a defense for years.
Yeah.